I'm getting to do that on a regular basis now, and I'm very happy because the first few I forgot to record them. So here we go. Today's workshop is going to be about searching and using the search engine. So let's just get right to it. I'm going to use my right mouse button on the search icon. I'm going to open that link in a new tab. As I've mentioned many times before, this is one of those things that I continually get better at. The way CINX works sometimes, if you're not careful and you hit it just the left button, you do get a whole nother web page which takes time to populate, and it's not efficient. As efficient, certainly, as keeping the main functions or main tools open across the top of your browser. For example, if I wanted to have access to vendors, I could open that link in another one. My customers, right? So I could have all these tools open, and I can move from any one of them easily without having to repopulate the page. That's all through the right click and using the submenu on your browser to create another tab. Back to searching here. All right. What are the most important things? Well, we'll start right from the top. One of the most important things is that anytime you'd like to, just for whatever reason that comes up, you want to do another search. You want this one to continue. So let me just put in something here. I'm just going to put raw, and we're going to be searching, by the way, the Harrison Publishing House repository. There are about 3 million items in there, and it's the largest catalog of its kind. And so we're going to search that for ROT. I go ahead and add that. That word has been added here. And you can see right now I've got the thumbnail screen set up. I don't like that. There's just way too few items on there, and I don't need to see a picture to know what I'm talking about. So I go to the grid light, and I like to also use groupings of 100. Makes it very easy to determine just how many pages of this stuff is there. Adding a couple zeros on the end, I got 9,000 items. So it's really quick, other than 20 or 50 or whatever, to figure out exactly how many items I am looking at. Obviously, I'm going to need to filter this a little bit more. I want to point out that you've got these filters down here, and the filters help you in a lot of different ways. So one of the filters, it says status. Here's your status column, and you've got a number of different types, 3 in fact. You've got active, which means actually available today. You've got discontinued, which means, as you would expect it to mean, no longer available today. And then there's one more that I don't see here yet, but I'm sure there is one here. It's called POA, price on application, and that would be listed here. Price on application. You will not have a manufacturer list price, or at least it won't be very current. So you could have a POA here, price on application. It could have a manufacturer list price associated to it, but I would always question what's the effective date of that price. So you go ahead and look here, and if it's like 2006, it says POA. There's a good bet that that's not the legitimate price, but it was the most recent manufacturer list price that Harrison was able to capture. POA, though, is the most recent status of it. That means you have to talk to your supplier, distributor, or manufacturer to get that right price. So I always, as a filter, I always select active. It's not by default, and you have to set it up every time you do a search. But my status now, I'm only going to see active items, no discontinued. And it did remove a few, as you can tell here. It removed a few of those active, only showing active items. And of course, there's other filters here. I could also define a manufacturer, and I'll just show you how straightforward that is. Well, we know that NIFCO is one of them. We could have even started with NIFCO. All of this searching really is done based on how you search, how you want to search. We don't try to force you to do it one way or another. Some people might start right off the bat with manufacturer. So that's what I'm going to right now. I'm going to add that NIFCO. You'll see it listed here, manufacturer NIFCO. And now I've reduced the number of pages for ROT that are active, and I can even go further by adding a keyword elbow. And now I'm only going to have the elbows, and now we've got 4 pages of 100, 400 different size elbows, all different kinds, reducing elbows, long, a variety of different types of elbows. So what do? Okay, so you search on that. I did want to say that, all of a sudden you thought, well, how about T's? I'd like to also go ahead and look for T's, ROT, active, elbow, T's. So ROT, active, elbow, T. And there's the 4 of them. Whoops. What happened here? What? Active. Oh, I know why. Because active is not considered one of them. And we got rot and T. You know, active. So I have to list that. Sorry about that. That was stupid for me to type that in as a keyword, because you don't find the word active in the actual data set, and that's what it actually is keying on. When you put in the keywords, it's actually searching the long description. We also have a short description. We're searching manufacturer part number column. It might even be we'll also search the manufacturer for that word or for T. The active is just its status. And even though it lists it here, we're not going to search on the word active there. So that's one thing. And I'm just going to wing it here because I thought it would work. I'm going to type NIPCO and let's see if that works. All right. NIPCO works. So it should be all NIPCO here. And of course, it's 20 per page. If I change that to 100 per page, we're going to get a much more comparative number as we were using before. All right. So there you go. So that's the basics of searching. But like I said before, you can have multiple searches going. Here we have elbow. In this case, we have T. So now we found perhaps, and maybe we want to get a little bit tighter in that. Doesn't matter for this point of this workshop today. The most important part is to explain how to use the tool and what parts are available. How you go about your searches, that's really a very personal thing, and you will get better at it after you do it. But again, you hit that green button, and you can do a new search. And you could search for, you could even change the criteria for what you're searching. You could search your own personal catalog. Now, Emerson Research, we'll just quickly go back to my dashboard, has we have one item in there. So you're not going to search on one item. If I had logged into my old account that I've used now for about 3 years and 150,000 items in there, it would make sense potentially. It would make sense to potentially search on my personal catalog, because maybe I'm looking for something that it might be a personal thing in my catalog that is not that is a piece of equipment that is not a HPH item code designated, and so in my personal catalog I can add additional items to that that's non-HPH item codes, but I might want to search for that. So that would be a reason, one reason. There's plenty of reasons why you'd be searching your own catalog for a particular item. Anyways, back to one of these original searches. Okay, so now we know how to get the search. We know that we can have multiple searches going. Always keep in mind this thing right here, because this is our destination. One way or another, we're going to be doing, well, it could be a destination, I should say. There are things that you could be doing with this other than dragging it into a data set of yours, which would be why you would open up your utilities pane, because your utilities pane is all of your data and how you might choose to use that data. And it might be that you're searching to create a bill of material, an RFQ. You might want to quickly put together an RFQ that you want to send off to one of your vendors. So you could be in these searches, grabbing certain items that you want, dragging them over into an RFQ, and then sending that to your vendors. That could be one reason. It could be creating a catalog line. We'll see our one item here, okay? There's our one item. But you could be building out your catalog, and you might have as a top line, you might have copper, and you have below that as a subline, wrought C by C. And then below that, you might have your fittings, or you might have elbows, T's, etc. And those might be your subcategories underneath all of those. It's up to you to do that. Or, as I've mentioned before, when we were talking about catalogs, that you may want to bootstrap the creation of your catalog, not doing it, straight out, brand new from a blank vanilla empty catalog. You might want to start as your starting point using the library set, the data set that's in your estimating tool. That'd be a great place to start. And Harrison Publishing House can help you with that, because you will need a little help with it. There's 2 steps that you need help with. One step is to export that library into an Excel spreadsheet. Your estimating publisher will help you do that. It's not hard, but there's a little nuance. In fact, some folks might be more than capable enough to figure out how to do it yourself. You might not even have to talk to a technical support person in your particular estimating support team application. So, but nevertheless, you're going to get from them, and you want to ask from them, a Excel spreadsheet with the HPH item code that's in that estimating program listed in the column and associated to that item. Now, the next step you're going to do, and this is where some of the lifting comes, some of the work, and it's going to pay off in great dividends, by the way. But this is the time where you take and put effort into cleaning up your content, getting rid of all the junk that's in your estimating program that you don't use anymore, or don't use ever, or never will. Why do you need to carry that along? You don't. It makes no sense to carry that data along. And as you continue to grow using that particular software, and you want to extend more content, and as it should be, like a new project, and a new project has a spec that you've never used before, and a manufacturer that's not already in your estimating program. So you want to quickly extend that estimating program with that new manufacturer's product line. You can do that using CINX. It's really easy, and you can do a group load. You don't have to do it individual by individual, right? All of that, of course, is based on you creating a custom catalog. And a great place to start is your existing one, as I mentioned, and the work comes by you when you go through and you reorganize it. You're going to delete all the stuff that you don't use anymore. You're going to organize it in a line structure and subline structure and a subline structure that makes sense to you and your company, how you organize your content, etc. Right? So there you go. That's my little spiel because I had a couple extra minutes. I still got 8 minutes to go in this 20-minute workshop. And I only have a few more things to go through because I don't see any questions and nobody's interrupted me, so I'm going to keep on going here.
Can you, say on a description, can you, like an Excel spreadsheet, can you click that and sort that?
Some of these can be sorted that way, yes. I would sort right there. You typically sort by HPH item code, okay? Because the HPH item code, when it's created based on a geometry element as one of the first items. So it'll always go from the smallest of the thing with a HPH item code and builds from there.
Okay.
But you could sort on HPH code, or you could sort on description. Even on description, as you can see, it starts with the 1 inches and 1.5, and let's see, 1.25, right? So it's not necessarily working, but when you sort on description, I mean, think of this as a typical component, right? The sort component in software engineering, software development. So there's a component that's brought to bear that allows you to sort a table of data. So it's only going to do it based on what you got here for letters, alphanumeric letters, okay? So that's how it's going to sort. That's why using an HPH code might be a better way of doing it. Just have to reverse it here. Let's see if that holds true here. Well, doesn't look like it holds true. All right, back to what I originally said. Let's sort on a description. That was a little bit easier. I always thought the HPH item code would do that better than that, but clearly didn't. But maybe there's an organization to it that I wasn't aware. Anyways, that answers your question, I hope.
Yep.
To bring the items over to your own catalog, you check the HPH boxes there, and then drag them over to your catalog in the current subtitle.
Yeah, you could drag them. You could select them all. Okay, so here's something that there is a ticket into the engineering team to do, which is if I'm selecting this, I'm basically saying I've drilled down to a level of filtering. I really want to select the entire group, not just page 1, but page 2. But look it's not selected. So there's 2 ways of addressing it. One is to go to page 1, select it all, create a catalog line here. I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to keep this this account clean with anything. I won't do it, but you understand that it's just a process of selecting line. You hit that button, you define the name of it, and you might want to call it Rot Elbow, NIPCO, for example. You have to drag this whole group over to that. Then go to page 2, select it, and pull that over. Get it? Then page 3 and page 4. Or here's the other way: create a set of 500 per page. It takes a little bit longer. So there's 500. Select it all, and drag 500 in one fell swoop.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a workaround until we have a button that says select all items. You know what I mean?
Right.
When you go 500 results per page, though, you need to be aware that it will slow it down a little bit. If I just chose 20, it's like really quick. See? The more it has to populate here, the slower the process. But I found that 100 is is quick enough for me, and I can see larger amounts of data to process. So if there are no other questions, are there?
No.
Okay, we've got really this is the end of it, and we've got 3 minutes. We should definitely cover it, 1 minute for each of these. You can print directly from these results, and this allows you, here you can do all results, okay? So this is kind of cool. I didn't know that button was there. This is going to be all results of all 4 pages. You can print the whole thing. Or you can export the whole thing. Let's just check it out. You guys are willing to gamble here. I'm going to export it. Export data is large. It may take a long time. You sure you want to? Yes, I do. So it's going to create an export. It's going to take us forever long, and so be it. I don't care. We're going to just show you, though, the potential and the value of using this right click. As that is creating the Excel spreadsheet, I'm just going to check my, let's see if it's here yet. Search engine. Looks like it has. There it is. And let's see how many items it has. It does the whole thing. Well, it's 345. I didn't actually check how many pages, and that might be 345. Clearly, you're going to have 4 pages, and that 4th page is not going to be filled out, of course. So, yeah, this is exact. So it does do the whole thing. The printing will do it. It says here the all results or the selected results. Export does the whole thing for you. Bill of material. You can. This looks like it would do the entire thing for you because there's no choice. Add items to existing BOM or add items to new BOM. So this is going to prompt you for one of the BOMs that might be created, which I don't have any here. I don't believe. Yes, I have 2. I have 1 test BOM there. So I could add this to that right there. It would show up, and I just select it. Or I could create an empty BOM here. The other only thing here, and I got 1 minute to show it to you guys, is grid columns. Grid columns allows you to edit. You can add whatever additional column data you want. So if this is going to be related to your catalog, your own private catalog, you're going to have these items. You're going to have a buy price, estimate price, sell price. If you're working with your vendors to create the subset or these slices of pricing that's below the manufacturer list price, all right? We're searching, and the search is with the Harrison Publishing House, so you won't have these items here because you're searching a catalog that has to stay generic. It won't take your buy price. You have to search on your company's catalog in order to do that. But this is how you basically edit and add additional columns, weight, sheet number, manufacturer, short description, manufacturer description. Those might be important to you. And that's the search workshop. And I can answer any questions about search or any other question you guys have related to anything with CINX, be happy to help you now, or you can type it in too if you'd like. Anything you think we're missing on the search? I suppose I should just point out that the category here is an effort on Harrison to organize things around categories. And the only other thing is lines. Lines here are identical. Well, I don't have my catalog here, but if I had a catalog and I selected my catalog, it would be my catalog lines that would be listed here. As it is, these are the lines that have been set up by Harrison Publishing House. And typically, this is the one that most people use, is the piping, commercial, and industrial. Well, if there are no other questions, thank you for attending today's workshop. And as I mentioned each time, I'm going to stop recording.